In 100 days, Trump has given new meaning to the essence of America. In 100 days, Trump has managed to implement market-crushing tariffs which have rocked the stock market, severed our long-lasting international relationships, while stripping the American people of even more economic power. In the last 100 days, Trump, through the Department of Government Efficiency, has enacted Schedule F of his Project 2025 agenda, firing over 121,000 federal workers, placing them with both sycophants to exert more control over the executive branch. Through Trump's handpicked members of the DOJ, they've removed integral legislation towards gun violence, civil liberties, freedom of speech, and so much more. Donald Trump has made it abundantly clear that he has no regard for the Constitution, as in the last 100 days, he's gone as far as deporting legal resident Kilmar Alberto Garcia without granting him his right to due process. His utter disdain for the Constitution and civil liberties was put on display when he even suggested deporting homegrown citizens of the United States of America. Also, as part of Trump's Project 2025 agenda is the dismantling of the Department of Education. In the last 100 days, Trump has majorly defunded the Department of Education due to its, quote, imperfections. With this defunding, Trump has gutted programs like Head Start, which provide primary education, crucial health services, and nutrition to 800,000 children across America. In the last 100 days, Trump has gutted a program that, although brimming with imperfections to Trump, is perfect to the average American just trying to get a head start on their child's education. In the last 100 days, Trump has gutted initiatives towards science and technology and is threatening the autonomy of universities, wishing to impose regressive policies that pick and choose what our future generations learn. Over 86 years ago, during World War II, German men, women, and children fled from Nazi Germany in search of a place that wouldn't persecute them and allow them to express their intellectual freedoms. That place was America. It seems that American researchers and scientists are fleeing to Europe for the same reason Germans did to America during World War II. America is no longer the land of opportunity and freedom, but the mecca of tyranny and oppression. 100 days was all it took. Can you believe it? 100 days was all it took for Donald Trump to turn America, the land of democracy, freedom, and opportunity, into a blossoming autocracy. Donald Trump's return to the White House has upended the structural integrity of our country. But what do the people of our country think about Trump's return to office? His approval ratings alone are enough of an answer. Trump has broken his record for lowest approval rating in only 100 days, going from an already staggering 44% to a whopping 41%. The lowest approval rating of any president in the last 80 years, when approval ratings even started. Just take a look.
We have a brand new CNN poll showing Americans are turning on him after propelling him back into office just 6 months ago. According to this brand new poll, Trump's approval rating now standing at just 41%. To give you some context, that is the lowest for any president at this point in his term in the history of modern polling, going all the way back to Eisenhower. This beats the record Trump himself set at the 100-day mark of his first term back in 2017. Trump's approval sliding down 7 points from just late February.
It seems the devastating effects of Trump's tariffs, mixed with his utter disdain for the improvement of healthcare and education, have woken Americans up to the reality of our situation. But 41% is 41% too many. Look, I know I can't convince everyone, but I'll convince who I can. Okay, so picture this, right? You're American. You've lived in this country your whole life, born and raised. You have a house, you have a family, you have a job, you have friends that you hang out with when you can. Well, life is good. Now you're coming back from a long, exhausting, tiring day of work, and suddenly you just get pulled over by these guys. Is it the police? No, it's ICE. And without any proper explanation, you're taken to their facility and questioned. Family doesn't know where you are. You don't know why you're there. You're essentially trapped. Suddenly, you're just filled with this insatiable feeling of anxiety. Everything you've built in this country is on the brink of collapse, and you don't know why. You've lived here your whole life, doing nothing wrong. Why? Well, just totally unbelievable, right? Well, what if I were to break the news to you that this actually happened?
Someone born in this country who was stopped, and this is in you're talking about Leon County, right? So who was stopped. What were the circumstances behind him being arrested and detained and being included into ICE?
Right. So he was on his way to work from Cairo, Georgia, where he lives and where he was born, into Tallahassee. So that aspect of crossing the state line came into play, and a state trooper stopped the car in which he was a passenger. He was not the driver, citing in the arrest report that the driver was going 78 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone. So this eventually led to the trooper asking the passengers in the car for their identifications, and the arrest report states that Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez stated that he was in the country illegally, but he showed the trooper his state ID card, and he told me after his release that he had also showed him a copy of his social security card, and that he said that he was born in Georgia.
But it never happened to you, right? Sure, you can say that, but it doesn't negate the fact that this is still happening. The DOJ is just allowed to come into your home under the baseless impression, solely under the baseless impression that you're some gang member, that you're some illegal alien. Now, because of Trump, 60% of unaccompanied little kids who migrate to this country have to represent themselves in court. Let's say the DOJ accuses me of being an illegal alien, right? Clearly, I am not an illegal alien. But what Donald Trump is doing is eliminating the process for me to prove myself innocent. I'm an illegal alien, right? Proven. Even if people remain under the assumption that I'm an illegal gang member, I have no way of proving that. So, under this logic, anybody accused of a crime under the Trump administration, or anybody who is opposite or antithetical to the political leanings of Donald Trump, can be accused of a crime and be stripped of the right to prove themselves innocent in a court of law. Since Donald Trump has entertained the notion several times about locking Hillary Clinton up for her political crimes, allow me to entertain this hypothetical. Let's say the DOJ or Donald Trump himself accused Hillary Clinton of a crime. Hillary Clinton may have or may have not committed that crime, but she is given the right to due process to prove herself innocent. But let's say, presumably, since Donald Trump has no regard for due process or the Constitution, takes away her right to due process. Now, you see the problem there, right? How is she supposed to be proven innocent if she doesn't have the right to due process? And it makes this inconsequential, unconstitutional cycle of autocracy, of doing away with your political opponents. And essentially, that is what Trump's aiming for. Our constitutional prerogative is being seized from us as we speak. This country was forged from the resistance to those who wanted to strip us of our freedoms. We, the people, impervious to any autocratic undertakings. 4 more years. We have 4 more years of Trump. You know, what Trump and his team have accomplished in this short amount of time is unprecedented. Unprecedented for both our democracy and our world order. We, the people. I brought this up because as our founding fathers decided upon this for the preamble of our Constitution, is because they had in mind to form a nation where the unity of the people with Trump and the autocratic transgressions, where simply expressing and vocalizing your concerns can make a difference. And to those who think the ideals of our founding fathers are long gone within our current society and have been for a while, as Americans, I implore you to reconsider. You can still protest, you can still go on strike, I can still make this video. Freedom is still very much abundant in this country, but Trump's actions threaten to quell it. His insistent refusal to follow the law might be the catalyst that destroys this country. His incompetence and lack of comprehension about the ordeals an average American has to go through might be the end of our country. But the bottom line is, we need to continue to fight. And the best way to do that right now is to speak out about it. Do not submit to fear and speak out about the current situation of our country. Because if you do not use your voice, you run the risk of letting the Trump administration gain more capital, letting them gain more supporters, letting more people believe their opaque wall of lies and promises and running face first into it. The next best thing to do is to vote. Currently, I cannot vote as I am 15 and under the legal voting age, but for those who are 18 and above the legal voting age, I implore you to vote. Vote for who you know is right. To let Republicans gain control of the House of Representatives and the Senate will be contracting our democracy. If we let Donald Trump win, it'll be easier for him to enact his autocratic agendas. You can use the link in the description to find your state's representatives and Senate members. Being politically inclined with what your members of Congress are doing, the policies they enforce, and what they stand for is the best way you can make sure that our country doesn't fall at the hands of these democratic aberrations. If you enjoyed that video, make sure to give a like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you'll be notified every time I post a video. And remember, stand with hope and look ahead, because that's the only way we're making it to 2028.